Hello, I am Courtney and this is my presentation on signs children are ready to read. Let's start with the question, what are the signs a child is ready to read? One of the things that should be checked for are concepts of print. This refers to the ability of a child to know and recognize the way in which print works for the purposes of reading. Next thing to check for is phonological awareness. This is a broad skill that includes identifying and manipulating units of oral language. Next on our list is that the child has a good use of language. They speak clearly, understand instructions, and articulate their thoughts and feelings using correct words. Next up is the general love for listening to others read them stories. While a child is playing, you may see them pick up a book and pretend to read. This is a good sign and encourage them to continue this. Also on the list is the child begins to pretend to write. Most often this is going to be just scribbles, but they will definitely want you to read what they just wrote. One thing you may start to notice is a child repeating a story that they have heard many times. The child might also start to recognize other print in their environment, such as billboards, cards, TV ads, etc. The next question is, why is this relevant? Why should we know this? In recent years, there has been a huge push for getting children to read at an earlier age. There is not much evidence that forcing children to read at an early age helps them in the long run. In fact, most of the times it hurts them. Children that are forced to start reading at an early age may start to avoid literacy activities as they enter school. Children need to be allowed time to develop their literacy skills in a developmentally appropriate manner. Knowing some of the signs children are ready to read helps both parents and educators guide children through the process of learning how to read. The next question is, why is this information important to early childhood educators? Early childhood educators are essential to the process of children learning how to read. They need to be aware of these signs so that the lessons they are planning are fostering individual literacy development and also so they can support the families who have questions or concerns about their child's literacy development. The last question is, how does this topic impact children of different age groups and families? Knowing the signs children are ready to read doesn't impact most children this age, except for a select few. In the case that a toddler does seem ready to read, the same signs still apply. The signs listed on the left have the biggest impact on this age group. This is the age where parents and teachers may start to look for these signs. At this time, many of the signs are all coming together, and the child is trying to process them all. There are times the child may be confused and get frustrated, but that's okay. With a little time and a little help, they will figure it out. Families are impacted by this because it is an exciting time for parents, but they may not be aware of what is developmentally appropriate for infants to kindergarten-age children. When it comes to literacy development, if a parent is not aware, they may start to push a child to read too early, and the child may resist them. If they are aware, it can be a great learning experience for both parties. Based off of all the information that I have provided in this video, here are my recommendations for you. My first recommendation is to be patient. This is something new to the child. They're going to want to take their time and experiment with it and see what works for them and what doesn't work for them. My second recommendation is to follow the child's lead. If the child wants to turn the page before you have finished reading the page, let them. If they want to change books in the middle of one story, let them. And if the child decides to stop looking at books and wants to go do something else, let them. Recommendation number 3 is to be willing to read the same book over and over again. It helps build the child's confidence in reading, and they have the reasons for liking that book. Recommendation number 4 is to talk to the child. The greater number of words the child hears, the better. Try reading aloud to the child every day. Use a variety of words when talking to the child, such as action words, feeling words, or descriptive words, and allow the child to have enriching experiences, such as going to the zoo or the museum. Recommendation number 5 is to read more than books to a child. This allows them to get more experience with other forms of print that are in their environment. When you're driving along the road and you see a billboard, read it. If you're cooking in the kitchen, read the recipe, and always make sure you read them their birthday cards. Last but not least, make reading fun. It'll be a more enjoyable experience for all parties that are involved.
Created using Powtoon.